Look inside a casino. Listen to the sounds, the flashing lights, the ringing bells, the suffocating, windowless architecture, designed to make you forget that time even exists outside those walls. If you watch closely, you will see people sitting in front of slot machines for 10, 12, 14 hours at a time. They do not eat. They do not sleep. They drain their life savings, destroy their marriages, and ruin their entire futures just to pull a plastic lever over and over and over again. Why do they do it? They are not stupid. They know the house always wins. They know the machine is mathematically programmed to take their money, but they cannot stop. They are entirely paralyzed by an invisible psychological chain. Now, look at your own life. Look at that specific person you cannot stop thinking about. The partner who treats you like garbage on Monday, but acts like you are their soulmate on Thursday. The toxic ex you keep running back to. The friend who ignores your texts for weeks, only to suddenly call you with a massive crisis, demanding your attention. You know they are bad for you. You know they are draining your emotional bank account. Your friends have begged you to leave them. Your own logic tells you to walk away. But you cannot stop. You keep pulling the lever. In the next few minutes, your entire understanding of love, loyalty, and attachment is going to be completely dismantled. You are going to learn the darkest, most heavily guarded secret in behavioral psychology. You are going to learn why the person you are obsessed with is not actually a person to you. They are a slot machine. To understand why you cannot walk away from someone who hurts you, you must first understand a glitch in your biological hardware. It is a concept discovered by a psychologist named B.F. Skinner in the 1950s. Skinner wanted to understand how to control behavior. He put rats and pigeons into boxes with a small lever. If the animal pressed the lever, a food pellet would drop out. At first, Skinner used a predictable system. Every single time the rat pressed the lever, it got food. Continuous reinforcement. The rat learned the rule quickly. It pressed the lever when it was hungry, it ate, and then it ignored the lever and went to sleep. It was relaxed, it was secure. Then, Skinner changed the rules. He reprogrammed the machine. Now, when the rat pressed the lever, it did not always get food. Sometimes it got a pellet. Sometimes it got nothing. Sometimes it had to press the lever 10 times to get a reward. Sometimes it only took 2. The reward became completely unpredictable. It was randomized. What do you think happened to the rat? Did it lose interest because the machine was broken? Did it walk away? No. The exact opposite happened. The animal became completely, dangerously obsessed. It stopped sleeping. It stopped grooming itself. It stood in front of the lever and pressed it frantically, obsessively, thousands of times an hour, entirely consumed by the desperate anticipation of the next random pellet. The unpredictability did not push the animal away. The unpredictability created a lethal addiction. In clinical psychology, this is called intermittent reinforcement. It is the exact same psychological architecture used in casino slot machines, in social media algorithms, and in the most toxic, soul-crushing relationships of your life. Your brain does not become addicted to the reward itself. Your brain becomes addicted to the anticipation of the reward. When a reward is predictable, your dopamine levels stay flat. You feel safe, but you do not feel euphoric. When a reward is unpredictable, when you have absolutely no idea if you're going to get the jackpot or lose everything, your brain floods your nervous system with massive, overwhelming spikes of dopamine. The anxiety of the deprivation, perfectly combined with the sudden relief of the reward, creates a chemical high that is more powerful than narcotics. The apex predators of society, the Machiavellians, the covert narcissists, the emotional manipulators, do not need to read B.F. Skinner to know how this works. They are predators. They understand this glitch by pure, dark instinct, and they use it to turn you into the rat in the cage. Let us break down exactly how they execute this biological hack against you. It is a highly systematic process that operates in 3 distinct, repeating phases. Phase 1. The baseline calibration. They cannot addict you to the machine until they show you what the jackpot looks like. When you first meet them, they give you continuous, overwhelming reinforcement. They text you all day. They compliment your mind. They make you feel seen, valued, and safe. They establish a baseline of intense affection. Your brain registers this person as a massive source of dopamine. You lower your defenses. You start to rely on them for your emotional equilibrium. You trust that every time you pull the lever, every time you reach out to them, you will get the exact same beautiful reward. Once your nervous system is fully calibrated to expect their affection, they reprogram the machine. Phase 2. The Starvation Period. Without warning, and without any logical reason, the rules change. You send them a text expecting the usual warm reply. You get nothing. You wait 3 hours. You wait 6 hours. When they finally do reply, it is a cold, flat, one-word answer. You try to initiate a conversation, and they look at you with total apathy. The warmth is gone. The soulmate you met last month has been replaced by a stranger who seems entirely irritated by your existence. Your brain panics. Because you are a rational human being, you assume that you must have done something to break the machine. You start analyzing your own behavior. Did I say something wrong? Am I being too needy? Should I apologize? You start pressing the lever faster. You send more texts. You try harder to please them. You compromise your boundaries. You walk on eggshells, desperately trying to figure out the mathematical formula that will make the machine dispense the warmth again. But there is no formula. The starvation is intentional. They are depriving you of the baseline to spike your cortisol. They are creating immense emotional anxiety, making you desperate, hungry, and completely focused on them. They will hold you in this dark, agonizing state of starvation right up until the exact moment they sense you might actually break and walk away. And then, they drop the pellet. Phase 3. The Random Jackpot. Just when you are about to give up, just when you are exhausted and ready to leave, the machine lights up. They suddenly text you a beautiful, deeply emotional paragraph about how much they miss you. They show up at your door with your favorite coffee. They look into your eyes with that exact same intense affection from the very first week, and they tell you that they have just been stressed, but you are the only one who truly understands them. The relief you feel in this moment is indescribable. Your brain, which has been starved and panicked for weeks, is suddenly flooded with the most massive, euphoric tsunami of dopamine imaginable. The contrast between the agonizing anxiety of Phase 2 and the sudden validation of Phase 3 creates a chemical bond that feels like pure magic. You tell yourself, this is it. We fixed the problem. The real them is back. You forgive the weeks of neglect in an instant. You justify their cruelty. You tell your friends that things are finally getting better. You do not realize that things are not getting better. The cycle is just restarting. Tomorrow or next week or next month, the machine will go cold again. And because you just experienced the euphoric high of the random jackpot, you will be willing to endure even longer periods of starvation to get it back. This is the trauma bond. This is why highly intelligent, capable, strong people stay in abusive relationships for years. You are not staying for the abuse. You are staying for the 5% of the time when the abuse stops. You are addicted to the contrast. You have been neurologically rewired to interpret the sudden relief of anxiety as true love. You think you are fighting for a complex, passionate romance, but the brutal, clinical reality is that you are just a pigeon in a box, pressing a piece of plastic, begging for a crumb of your own sanity back. The manipulator knows this. They know that as long as they control the reward schedule, they control you. They never have to be a consistently good partner. They just have to be terrible most of the time and occasionally decent, and your own brain chemistry will do the rest of the work to keep you trapped. So, How do you break the machine? If your own dopamine system has been weaponized against you, how do you sever the neurological chain? You cannot fix the machine. You cannot love a slot machine into becoming a reliable ATM. You must execute the absolute zero-tolerance protocol known in behavioral psychology as the casino exit. The casino exit is a radical shift in your entire perception of the relationship. It requires you to stop looking at the person's potential and start looking at their pattern. When a toxic partner goes cold, your instinct is to chase them. Your instinct is to pull the lever. You must override that instinct with cold mechanical logic. You drop the anchor into reality. You look at the situation and you explicitly name the tactic. You tell yourself, I am experiencing intermittent reinforcement. This anxiety I feel is not love. It is biological withdrawal. By labeling the feeling as a chemical withdrawal, you strip away the romance. You de-romanticize the pain. If a drug addict is going through withdrawals, they feel like they are dying without the substance. But the substance is the exact thing killing them. The only cure is to endure the starvation until the brain resets. You must do the same. When they pull away and starve you of affection, you do not text them. You do not ask what is wrong. You do not press the lever. You turn your back on the machine and you walk out of the casino. This means going no contact. Absolute, total radio silence. And here is the most critical part of the casino exit. When they realize you have stopped playing the game, they will panic. The manipulator will try to trigger a massive, overwhelming random jackpot to pull you back in. They will call you crying. They will promise to change. They will offer you everything you have been begging for over the last 6 months. You must look at that jackpot, and you must step over it. You must recognize that their sudden warmth is not a revelation. It is a tactic. It is the machine flashing its lights, because the casino owner realizes you are walking toward the door. If you take that bait, if you accept that apology, the cycle resets, and the starvation period will be twice as long the next time. True love is boring. Authentic, healthy connection is highly predictable. It is a continuous, steady flow of mutual respect. It does not spike your cortisol. It does not make you wonder if you are going to be loved tomorrow. If a relationship feels like a roller coaster, get off the ride. Think carefully about the people in your life right now. Who leaves you constantly waiting in the dark? Who only shows you affection the exact moment you are ready to walk away? Share your specific survival stories in the comments below and let us expose these invisible cages together. Subscribe to Human Noir. Join the elite few who see human nature exactly as it is and refuse to be played as pawns. Until next time, you guard your chemistry relentlessly. Recognize the machine and always remember, the only way to win a rigged game is to stop playing.